just reading about where Dubai Real Estate, I think it was Frank Knight, it was one of these companies, I can't remember which one it was. And we're here right now in June of 2021, and they were talking about the Dubai real estate market and how it's starting to go back up again. Folks, don't buy that. I'm going to give you some formulas today. Don't listen to realtors in Dubai. Remember, realtors were telling me back in 2016, 2017, that the prices were going to go through the roof on real estate. All you had to do is look around you. There's skyscrapers everywhere. People couldn't fill up the skyscrapers. And then gradually what happened was you started seeing these builders go bankrupt. And I could look on a clear day and see literally 30 skyscrapers that were being built up around Dubai Marina. And they were just nowhere close to being finished. They weren't going to finish them. And this was the beginning of the real huge bubble. And a lot of people got sucked in this little trap that a lot of realtors were putting in people in Dubai at that time. I'm going to give you some pointers today how you can actually, you don't need to go to a real estate agent. This is how you can find out yourself where the real estate market is in Dubai. It's a real simple little formula you can do. But the real estate market still hasn't hit the bottom. I'm going to show you a simple method to do on how to figure that out, okay? Number one is don't talk to realtors in Dubai. They're going to confuse you. You're better off going to a website. It's called www.propertyfinder.com, okay? When you go to that website, you look at the features at the top. Right before I tell you the features, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, or you want to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do three things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And number two is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. And number three is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. If you want a passport as quick as 45 days, we deal with over 100 citizenship by investment and residency by investment countries all over the world. Okay, and when you get to propertyfinder.com, you go to the top where it says you actually put the actual area, because Property Finder does deal in areas outside the UAE. And if you really want to center down, just put the word Dubai. Don't put the word UAE in there, because there's too many areas in the UAE that you're looking at. Most people that go to the UAE go to Dubai. So put in Dubai, and then you'll hit at the very top, it says either rent or buy. Just put buy if you're looking at buying, because that's what we're talking about today. And then you hit the part where it says apartment. Okay, you can either pick apartment, villa, or whatever structure you want, but you want to hit that little next block where it says apartment. And then where it says beds and baths, just leave it blank, okay, because we're looking for the smallest apartment, and I'm going to tell you why we do that here in a minute. And then the next block, just put it where it says up to 300,000 AED, that's dirhams, okay? Because what we're looking at is the cheapest apartment that you can get in Dubai. Let me tell you why you do this, okay? More people can afford cheaper apartments, okay, than they can the more expensive ones, okay? Irregardless of what realtors I'm telling you that the one bedrooms, the efficiencies, they go up percentage-wise better long-term as a general rule than the more expensive properties, okay? So you want to measure the cheaper properties first, because if they're not going up, I promise you the other expensive properties aren't going up either. Irregardless of what they say about Palm Jumeirah, promise you the cheaper properties have a tendency to go up quicker than the more expensive ones, okay? So this is what we want to measure, because this is a better measuring stick for this. So after you get where it says up to 300,000 dirhams, then what you do is you just go over here, and there's a little search bar just to the right of where it says up to 300,000 dirhams, and you hit that. All right, now once you hit that, you can actually select the order of the properties according to how you want it, and you want to select where it says price low. In other words, from low to high, okay? You don't want the newest properties, the oldest properties. You want the cheaper properties first, because this is what we're going to study right here, okay? Now, when you pull those up, what you'll see is the apartments that are the cheapest. And I'm going to tell you the one that I'm pulling up now. I actually did this about 6 months ago, by the way. The cheapest apartment 6 months ago they're almost always an international city. Once in a while, you'll see some that were close to international city prices, like in Dubai Sports City. I lived in Dubai for about 4 years. I know the market very good, studied that market very good. Never bought there. I'm glad I didn't. I didn't get stuck in this swamp. I knew they were at the huge bubble. Okay, but now you can look and you can see the cheapest ones as of to date that I'm looking at are in Morocco. Now, Morocco doesn't have a good reputation in international city, never has been. It's usually the ones that are, they're kept up probably the least amount of any of the units in international city. But what you do is you make a comparison on the cheapest units, whether it's Morocco or whatever it is at that time. Now, I looked about 6 months ago, and the cheapest was around 200,000 dirhams. That's roughly about 60,000 US, and that's for about a 400 square foot efficiency unit, okay? Now, we're looking at about 6 months later, 187,000 dirhams, and the cheaper ones back then were in the Morocco units too, which is about 400 square feet, okay? Now, which one's higher, 200,000 or 187,000 dirhams? That's a no-brainer, okay? So it's about roughly right around 10% cheaper, okay, roughly. Okay, not quite that much. It's probably around probably about 5 to 7%. In other words, it's about 13,000 less than what it was 6 months ago. The point I'm trying to make is it's dropped. It hasn't bottomed out, irregardless of what realtors tell you. This is all you got to do is pull up Property Finder. If they continue to drop, they're not going up. Okay, that's how simple you look at this. Now, Dubai is a market that was way overblown. How long it's going to take before this thing catches up, your guess is as good as mine. But what I would be doing is, if you're studying Property Finder, don't listen to realtors. Look at this. These are the cheapest properties in that area. If you go to a realtor, he's not going to give you the cheapest property in that area, because remember, there is no multiple listing service there in Dubai. So what you go to one realtor, he's not going to have the cheapest property there. Property Finder will, because it's composed of all the different realtors. It's almost like a multiple listing service, but you're having different realtors on all these different properties, okay? So you go in and you do this analysis just like I'm showing you right here, okay? And once this thing starts to move up, I would give it about 6 months of moving up on prices. You can measure it. And once you see that movement start to go up, you've hit the bottom. Okay. If you want to start buying in this market, are we lower than what we were 6 months ago? Yeah. In fact, we're a lot lower than what we were a year and a half ago. How much lower this is going to drop, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you the market is flooded over there. Don't listen to realtors. Do your own mapping. This is not a hard thing to do. You just come on here. Properties, www.propertyfinder.com. You can pull this up. You can see the units that you're buying, and you can test the cheapest ones first. They're the ones that you want to be looking at. If they're still dropping, I'm going to tell you the more expensive ones, including Palm Jumeirah, they're dropping too. The realtors won't tell you that because they know that you don't know unless you look at stuff like this. Now, you can also pull up Palm Jumeirah and you can test that area. If you got a certain area you want to look at, you can just plug that in, Dubai, and then Dubai Palm Jumeirah, and you can actually pull those up. And these are the cheapest ones in Palm Jumeirah, and then measure them 6 months later and see if they continue to drop. Now, you're going to have to look and make sure you got the same square footage. You got to look at the, if you're looking at the standalone villas that are on the right on the ocean, if that's what you're looking for, that's what you need to be comparing when you come back in. But I'm going to tell you, as a whole, as a market as a whole, come and look at the cheaper units first. And if they're still dropping, Palm Jumeirah, the other ones are still dropping too. Don't let the realtors confuse you on that. Folks, if you want to, in fact, I'll tell you something too that's even better than this. I used to live in Dubai. Okay, I'm actually moved to St. Kitts. St. Kitts is so much better. The weather is just incredibly nice. You don't have all the heat like you got in Dubai. You got a lot cleaner air. You don't have the sand and stuff where you don't have to open. In Dubai, it's very difficult to open your windows. You get sand all in your apartment. And the thing I like about St. Kitts is you can open your windows. You got fresh air all the time. You don't have heavy traffic, no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. And let me tell you why it's so much cheaper also in living in a place like St. Kitts, and so much better. You can get a passport and citizenship in St. Kitts. You're not going to get it in Dubai. It's going to take you 3 decades before you can apply, and then you're going to have to speak fluent Arabic to do it. And to me, it's a no-brainer. If you want a second passport quick, and you don't even have to live in St. Kitts to get the passport, you can get it 45 days in St. Kitts. But if you want to run a business from St. Kitts, it is so much cheaper than Dubai. Let me give you an example. In Dubai, you're going to have to get a visa. You're going to pay for visas for you, all your employees and stuff. You also have to pay for their trip going back and forth. If they're living in the Philippines, you're going to have to go back and pay for those trips. You're legally supposed to pay for their health insurance and all this other stuff. I mean, it's a lot of things you got to pay for. Your licensing fees can be several thousand US dollars. In St. Kitts, your licensing fee is 187 US bucks. And you don't have to pay all these visa fees if you're a citizen. And if you're not even a citizen, it's a lot cheaper because your licensing fee is only like 187 bucks a year versus several thousand. And if you want to start out of your house, you can do that. Dubai is going to require you to have an office. The expenses are so much higher in Dubai. The only reason I would go to Dubai is if you've got a big local market. I'm not talking about a market outside the country. I'm talking about a local market inside the country. Then that would be different because your population is higher in Dubai than St. Kitts. But if you're doing international work, man, it's so much cheaper to run it from St. Kitts. And if you really want to cut back on your cost, live in St. Kitts and set up a Seychelles company, IBC in Seychelles. You pay no Social Security tax. You don't have to fund all these benefits for your employees. You can outsource to the Philippines. And man, you can get your costs down tremendously, and your licensing fees would be a lot cheaper. Your visa fees, if you're a citizen, would be zero. I can't tell you the difference. And also, you don't have to pay a VAT if you got your company outside of St. Kitts. Now they got a 5% VAT in Dubai. Anyway, if you got more questions on this, on how to get a passport quickly or anything like this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. If you're thinking about relocating, you want to be in a tax-free country, we can help you out. If you need to be making around at least 150,000 US dollars a year, and or got a net worth of at least 1 million US, and we can show you how to better your situation there. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen here, and you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below, and I'll get back with you and see what we can do to help you. And I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.